This ancient ratio is the key to understanding silver's true suppressed value. For thousands of years, this ratio hovered around 15 to 1. That means that it took around 15 ounces of silver to buy 1 ounce of gold. Today, that ratio is hovering around 50 to 1. That is a massive deviation from historical norms. If we simply apply the historical average of 15 to 1 to a conservative gold price of $5,000 an ounce, silver should be trading at $333 an ounce. At the time of this recording, silver is $100. That's almost a 300% increase. That is a potential upside of massive scale. Welcome everyone, my name is Jose and I'm with Summit Metals. I'm a stacker and today I want to talk about gold-silver ratio, GSR. This isn't speculation. It's just how historically governments have pegged gold and silver to each other. We need to understand why this ratio matters and how we got here. So let's start talking about this from a historical context and how it applies towards our previous videos on how we use Sharpe ratio. Before central banks and fiat currency, money had weight. For over 5,000 years, the value of money defined by the weight and purity of the metal it contained. Ancient empires, from Egypt to Rome to the early United States, built their stability on bimetallic standard of gold and silver. Not just gold, not just silver, but both metals. Look at the historical record of Egypt, set the first recorded ratio of 2.5 to 1, reflecting silver's scarcity in the region. The Roman Empire standardized it at 12 to 1 for commerce across the entire domain that they held. In 1792, the US Coinage Act fixed the ratio at 15 to 1. These ratios were not arbitrary numbers. They reflected the natural scarcity of the metals. The mining ratio is around 8 to 1 and the practical needs of commerce. Silver was the money of the people for daily transactions, while gold was the ultimate store of value. But why did governments feel the need to fix this ratio? So the governments didn't just observe the gold to silver ratio, they enforced it. This was the commandment of the commerce at the time, a deliberate policy choice to create a stable, predictable monetary system. A fixed ratio was essential for 4 key reasons. First, it provided government stability by ensuring predictable tax revenue, which is crucial for all state financing. Second, it ensured commercial fluidity by preventing arbitrage between two metals, allowing trade to flow across borders smoothly. Third, it was built on public confidence because you held it, it was real. When citizens trust the value of their savings, they participate more in the economy. And finally, the fourth reason, it provides transactional utility. Silver was a practical medium for daily exchange, connecting the masses to the gold-backed system. If you think about it today, if you wanted to buy a burger with gold, could you do so? In our previous videos in Venezuela, with their inflation, people are paying with milligrams of gold to buy a cup of coffee. Silver, you don't have to be scratching it to the milligrams to be buying that coffee. The fixed ratio was the glue that held the entire monetary system together for many centuries. But this stability was a threat to governments that wanted unlimited spending power. So what happened when they decided to break that commandment? The 20th century was defined by the systematic abandonment of sound money. This was not a failure of gold or silver, it was just a deliberate choice by the governments seeking to finance wars and expand their power through unlimited spending. The process was a waterfall of monetary debasement. What you keep hearing, the dollar and its value is going down. That's why gold is going up. It's not that gold is more expensive. It's just the buying power of the dollar has gone down. This is called debasement. It started in 1914 when nations suspended the gold standard to finance World War I. Then in 1933, President Roosevelt made private gold ownership illegal in the United States, seizing the nation's gold supply. Less than 100 years ago. It can happen again. The system was patched up at the Bretton Woods in 1944, making the dollar the world reserve currency. But it was still pegged to gold. The final blow came in 1971 with the Nixon shock. By ending the dollar's convertibility to gold, the US ushered a fiat era, the era in which we're living in today. After 1971, the gold-silver ratio was no longer a policy tool. It became a free-floating market price, untethered from any historical anchor. The result of this unpegging is the ratio that has gone completely insane in modern times. So in the 50 years of fiat currency has warped the value of everything. The gold and silver ratio is the clearest evidence of the distortion. The modern gold-silver ratio is a historical anomaly. Since 1971, the ratio has exhibited extreme volatility, signaling a system is under constant stress. The historical average was 15 to 1. The modern average is 60 to 1. That is a fourfold increase from the relative price of gold versus silver. Now, if you refer back to previous slides, I mentioned that gold is not that it's more expensive, it's that the dollar is cheaper. So what can we say about silver when it's pegged against gold? We've seen the extremes, like a 100 to 1 ratio in 1991, and a shocking 125 to 1 during COVID in 2020. Even after silver's recent rally, the current ratio of 50 to 1 is still 3 times, if not 4 times higher than the 5,000-year historical average. Is the market telling us that silver remains dramatically undervalued relative to gold? Now, this is not to say that gold-silver ratio is the only ratio to use to determine your investment strategy. This is just a conversation to explain why people are talking about gold-silver ratio today. But if this ratio is so historically significant, why does your financial advisor never talk about it? The answer is simple. Wall Street has a blind spot. Modern finance is built on models like the Sharpe ratio and beta, which are useful, but they operate entirely within the fiat notion. They assume that the dollar is a stable measuring stick. They measure risk and return relative to the currency that has lost 97% of its value. This is a fundamental flaw, but every single method to determine how you invest your money has flaws. So it's not to say that the Sharpe ratio is incorrect, because we do use it here in our channel. It's just to explain that there are also alternatives. The GSR is different. It is an external measure of value. It measures the relative worth of 2 monetary metals, gold and silver, outside of the government-controlled system. So, by acknowledging the GSR means that we are admitting that the fiat system is flawed, temporarily, and ultimately a poor foundation for long-term wealth. So, is this a threat to the status quo? Is that why it's being ignored? For us, GSR is just a powerful tool, like the Sharpe ratio. It simply exposes another systemic debasement of the fiat currency, and that debasement is not a new phenomenon. It's a historical certainty. The reason we look outside of the fiat system is because historically, it's been brutally clear. All fiat currencies have a 100% failure rate. This is not a theory, it is a historical fact. Look at the Roman deniers. The empire debased the currency by reducing the silver content from 95% down to less than 5% to fund its endless wars. The result was economic collapse. Look at the French, the German, or the modern example of the Zimbabwe dollar. The pattern is always the same. Governments print money to fund spending. The currency loses all trust and it fails. The US dollar is not immune to this process. It has already lost 97% of its purchasing power since the Federal Reserve was created in 1913. The current fiat experiment is just the latest iteration of a very old story. The question is not whether the dollar will fail, but when. And when that failure accelerates, the market will seek out real value. The gold and silver ratio is not just a historical curiosity, it's a cold spring. In finance, we rely on the principle of mean reversion. Extreme deviations from historical averages tend to correct over time. The current ratio, sitting around 50 to 1, is a massive deviation from 5,000 historical year average, 15 to 1. Think of it as a spring that has been compressed too far. It has built up tremendous potential energy, and when that spring releases, the move in silver will be explosive. If gold is at $5,000 an ounce, and the ratio simply reverts to a modern average of 60 to 1, silver would be $83. That's a great return. If it reverts to a historical average of 15-1, silver must reach $333 an ounce. That's a massive revaluation. And if it reverts to a natural mining ratio of 8-1, the implied price is $625. This reversion is statistically probable. The only question is, how great of a revaluation will it unfold to? We're not explicitly stating that silver will reach these numbers. We're simply stating that using the ratio, it implies these numbers to be true in a statistical model. The critical question now is, how does that reevaluation happen? It comes down to two paths: an orderly reset or a chaotic reevaluation. The orderly reset is the path that the governments would prefer. A sovereign debt crisis forces a new monetary conference. The central banks repeg the currency to gold and silver to restore public confidence. This would be a controlled, gradual repricing of silver overnight, monetizing it to a fixed, higher ratio. The second path, the chaotic revaluation, is driven by the market. This happens when the public completely loses faith in the fiat currency, leading to a mass flight into hard assets. Because silver is so much more affordable than gold, this panic buying would create massive supply squeeze, causing a violent, rapid price explosion. Could we be seeing that today during our current economic situation? In both scenarios, the outcome is the same. Silver's relative value increases dramatically and the gold-silver ratio collapses. The market forces the change, whether the government starts it or simply reacts to it. So how do you position yourself with this shift? You've watched our previous videos. You can take multiple approaches. We have the Sharpe ratio indicating where silver can be going. You also have now this gold-silver ratio, which is more than just a historical curiosity. It's just a roadmap for you navigating the coming shift of a global financial system shift. You don't want to just survive on the reset. You want to thrive through it. We've seen that the GSR was a tool of monetary stability for 5,000 years, giving it a powerful and enduring historical precedent. We also know that the fiat currencies have a 100% failure rate, meaning the current system is not permanent. The current ratio is around 50-1, which is a massive historical anomaly, making silver statistically undervalued relative to gold. And finally, the principle of mean reversion tells us that this implies a massive upside potential for silver. Understanding this ratio allows you to position yourself for a monumental change. The future is bimetallic, and those who recognize this now will be the ones who benefit the most. And the market is starting to recognize this shift in a major way. It's not about whether I should own gold or silver. It's about how much gold and how much silver should I own in my overall portfolio. If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe for more content. Happy stacking, everyone.